Good morning. It's Sunday, May 31st. Welcome to Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist Temple's online service. So as you can see, we're making some progress. We're not back together, regular Sunday gathering yet. That might still be a while, but at least we're back in the church, which is really nice, and kind of our familiar place. So that ought to kind of be an encouraging thing for all of us. So today's service will be very simple. We will begin with a Vandana and Tisarana. And then following that, we will chant the Gasho to Amida, after which we will recite the Golden Chain of Love. And so then I'm going to share my Dharma message with you, and then we will chant the loving kindness meditation, or metta. So that's really very simple service today. We'll conclude with the singing of the Nembutsu after that. So please, I hope you enjoy the service. And by the way, if you wish to have the service book at home, it is available on the Hampa Hongwanji website in a electronic format, a PDF file. You can look at it on your computer, or actually on a phone, a smartphone like an iPhone or an iPad or anything like that. You can use it in that way. So if you would like to do that, please feel free. It's to go ahead and download that service book. You can also download one version that you could print out, although that's a little bit more trouble. But if you would like to, please go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's begin our service now by putting our hands together in Gasho and reciting the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, I recite Amida's name with Amida. Trees and grasses and flowers all grow in great compassion. This light shines throughout the world. I gasho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I gasho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I gasho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I gasho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I gasho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play. Every day with Amida, every moment filled with light. I gasho to Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I gasho to Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I gasho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. This great power guides my life. I gasho to Amida. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Please join me in the recitation of the Golden Chain of Love. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Good morning again. At this time, I'd like to just share some thoughts, some reflections about the Buddhist teaching with you. Let's start with a moment of reflection and appreciation as we recite the Nembutsu, the Buddha's name. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. I'd like to tell you a story. It's a funny story, and it's about a man who was trying to buy a parrot. Some of you may know that I really like parrots, so parrot stories are always a good vehicle for me. But anyway, this man, he went into a pet shop, and he told the proprietor there, the proprietor that he wanted to buy a parrot. And so the proprietor asked him whether he wanted a plain parrot or a talking parrot. "What's the difference?" the man asked. "Well, the plain parrot costs $500 and the talking one costs $1,000. "Well," the customer said, "I guess a talking parrot is better, right? So I'd better have that one." After the proprietor brought out the talking parrot, the customer asked him, "Hey, he's not saying anything. Are you sure he talks?" "Certainly he talks. All you have to do is put him into the gold cage and then..." "Wait a minute," the man said. "I need to buy a gold cage?" "Oh yes, the parrot won't talk unless he's in a gold cage." "Okay, how much is that?" "A gold cage," the proprietor told him, "is $500. "Okay, I guess I better take the gold cage if I want the parrot to talk." So the customer took the parrot and the gold cage home. About a week later, he returned to the store and he told the proprietor that the parrot still wasn't talking. "Really?" the proprietor said. "I'm surprised. Now let me get this straight. You put the parrot in the gold cage, and then he ran up the gold ladder and..." "Wait a minute, gold ladder?" the customer said. "I need a gold ladder too? How much is that?" "Oh, that'll be another $500. "Well," the customer said, "I guess a talking parrot is no good unless he talks, so I better have the gold ladder." So he took it and he left, and about a week later he came back again to the store. "Parrot still doesn't talk." "Really?" the store proprietor said. "Let me get this straight now. You put the parrot in the gold cage, he ran up the gold ladder, and then he looked at himself in the gold mirror." "Gold mirror?" the man said. "I need a gold mirror too?" "Oh yes," the proprietor said. "The parrot won't talk without a gold mirror. It's only $500. "Well, I guess a parrot that won't talk is useless, so I better take the gold mirror." So a week later, the customer returned again. The parrot still wasn't talking. "Let me get this straight," the proprietor said. "You put the parrot in the gold cage. He ran up the gold ladder, looked at himself in the gold mirror, and then rang the gold bell." "Gold bell? I didn't know I need one of those too." "Oh yes. Parrot won't talk without the gold bell." So the customer paid another $500 and took the gold bell home. A few days later, he came back. "The parrot died," he said. "Really?" the proprietor said. "I'm surprised to hear that because it was such a healthy parrot. But tell me, did you ever get that parrot to talk?" "Oh yes," the customer said. "Right before he died, he did say one thing." "Really? What did he say?" "He said, 'Food, food.'" So that's a funny story, don't you think? It has a kind of a truth about it. It reminds us of something about ourselves that we recognize, we might recognize if we look closely and honestly at ourselves. When we have something that we like, or that we value, or think is valuable, something we think is special, we often want to protect it and give it a sense of importance. Parents often, I think, keep their children in a kind of golden cage. This is kind of like what Shakyamuni Buddha's father did with his son. Kept him protected in a gold cage, a wonderful palace where everything was wonderful and pleasurable, but where the son, Shakyamuni Buddha, little Siddhartha, couldn't develop as a full human being. He was prevented from seeing the true reality of life in there. That's what his father wanted to, so that he wouldn't, go off the path of becoming a powerful king. Of course, he did eventually. So that goes to show it does not too effective to try to keep anybody in a gold cage. But anyway, no matter how wonderful a cage is, no matter how great the toys, the wonderful things inside it are, possessions, it's still a cage. Actually, often our possessions can be a cage, can't they? And when you put something in a cage, it just can't be what it truly is. When we have nice things, it's natural that we want a special place for them, to hold them, to keep them safe. So, a nice cage for the parrot, right? When I was growing up, my parents had a set of silverware. Do you remember? They received on their wedding. Do you remember when people had sets of silverware? I don't know if that was common here, but when I grew in the Midwest, 1950s, 60s, people had their sets of silver, forks and knives and so on. I guess it was just something that was done. Now that would be kind of expensive, and people don't have that kind of formal life anymore that they used to have. And even in my parents' time, that kind of thing was going out of fashion. And I remember we used that silverware just only like Thanksgiving, once or twice a year. And they also had a silver tea service, coffee and tea service, with two pots and the sugar thing and the cream thing. And guess how often I ever saw that used in my whole life? Zero. I never saw it used. So, but it was kind of cool. But it really was just something, a valuable possession. But anyway, the thing is, the interesting thing is that all this stuff had a special place to keep it in. The silverware had this beautiful wooden box, with slots for everything, and there was a special cabinet for the tea service. So it's natural and respectful to treat valuable things made by craftsmen, made beautiful things that were made by hand and so on. It's natural to treat them well, right, respectfully. However, because these items were treated so carefully, their real purpose, which was to be used for eating and drinking, was hardly realized. We almost never used those items. They were kept in their beautiful boxes and so on, but they almost never got used. What we used, the everyday dishes, right? That's what they called them, everyday utensils and dishes. Of course, we also had the china, fine china that was used, also for the couple times a year, right? But we had the everyday dishes most of the time, and utensils and so on. And because we didn't overly ascribe value to them as a possession, they were just something we used, we were able to enjoy those everyday items without anxiety and worry. Didn't have to worry about breaking them or scratching or whatever. So we could benefit from them, and they could really be dishes, right? And forks and knives being used for their purpose, right? Because we didn't think that they were so valuable that we had to, lock them away, right? Now, when I think of the parrot in the story, of course, the story is a joke, but when I think of the parrot in that story, I really feel sad thinking of thinking about it as a kind of a real thing, because that parrot was appreciated as a rare and valuable talking parrot. She wasn't appreciated for what she was, right? A parrot. A talking parrot is something that human beings would value because it entertains them and maybe even flatters up to them. Oh, he's talking like us, We're kind of, in a way, we're amazed and also flattered by it. But it's a sort of a diversion for us. But parrots, birds, no animal exists to mimic human speech. Animals don't exist to entertain us. A parrot exists to be a parrot. It doesn't need to be anything else. We can appreciate a parrot just as it is. But if we stay focused on that bird, that parrot doing what we want it to do, sitting in the cage and talking, then we are actually stealing its life, preventing it from becoming its true self. That hurts us too. We could benefit more by appreciating a parrot who is being a parrot. But a parrot being a toy for us is of no benefit. Of course, it's not bad for a parrot to talk, of course. It's nice to have when parrots, that's part of their natural behavior, is to mimic sounds they hear, and also some of them are very intelligent and actually can use speech and other means to actually convey things that thought that process. And so that's a whole nother story, a whole nother story that we can also appreciate very much, that we're not the only ones who have this intelligence and thought. But I'm talking about the idea of it just being a commodity. This is a talking, which is what the story is about, a talking parrot. And all of the focus was on the idea of this parrot talking, not on caring about the bird as a living being. So the man in the story never found out what a parrot really is. He didn't care how a parrot lives or what a parrot feels, right? All he wanted was, he paid money, he wanted a talking parrot. And he even forgot that the parrot, like all living beings, needs to eat. He didn't feed it, right? So he may never have even looked at the parrot in the gold cage, never even wondered who it was. In a way, we do this with the Dharma too, with our wonderful Buddhist teaching. We want to show our respect for the teaching, and so we wrap it up in services and gold altars and all these utensils and incense and all that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with that. It's good to show respect for the teaching, to respect and appreciate it with rituals and decorations and so on, candles and all the beautiful things on the altar, as you can see. But if we forget about the Dharma that is really there, if we neglect to learn what it really is, what we are meant to learn from it, then we end up with just an empty gold cage. Of course, we can't starve the Dharma like you can starve a bird. You can neglect a living creature, a bird, a child, a dog, whatever. We cannot neglect the Dharma because the Dharma is always there for us, and the Dharma never neglects us. But if we don't appreciate the teaching and listen to it and put the most importance in our own reflection on ourselves as the teaching awakens us and helps us to grow, then we are really starving ourselves. Cages not only keep things in, they also keep us out. If you have put too much emphasis on all the ritualistic aspects in Buddhism or any religion, you end up kind of keeping yourself out. You keep a distance. But the Dharma, the Buddhist teaching, is Amida Buddha, is not distance from us. No separation. You don't have to go anywhere to find Amida Buddha. You don't have to go anywhere to find the Dharma. It's right there with you, in your heart, in all of your experiences. There's nothing in life that we need more than the wisdom and compassion that we call Amida Buddha. And if any gold cage prevents us from realizing that, we may have to let go of that cage, at least for a while. And maybe we don't need the cage. We always have to ask ourselves that question. in our world, human beings always like this. We like to put things in cages, lots of different things. Our society is big on cages, on locking things and people up. My advice, from a Buddhist perspective, is that we must stop doing it. Don't put yourself or anyone else in a cage. Look closely at everyone around you, parrots and people, both, and make an effort to get to know who they are, what they need, and how they feel. When we open ourselves to appreciate everyone for who that person is, who everyone is, just as they are, and understand how much we learn from each other, then we will also find that the Dharma is always right there with us. It's not in a church. Well, it is in a church, in a temple. It's everywhere, right? It's not just in the church. It's not just on the altar. It's not just in Buddhist books or spiritual books, but it's in everyone we meet, in every moment of life, in all of our experiences. So I hope you will think about that. Bring the Dharma. Right now we have to stay home. We're still in the stay-at-home period and not gathering together in church as we normally do. Don't think that you're separated from Buddhism. Don't think you're separated from the Dharma. It's right there with you. Even if you didn't have this YouTube video, you wouldn't be hearing me, but even if you weren't watching this video, the Dharma is right there with you. If you have a Butsudan, that's good. If you don't have a Butsudan, the Dharma is still there with you. The Buddha is always watching over you, always there with you, teaching you and helping you in your life. Okay, so let's please reflect on these things. And I will be speaking to you again at our next service next week. So, and finally, don't forget to feed the parrot. Okay, so thank you very much, and let's put our hands together in Gassho and recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please join me now in the chanting of the metta, or loving kindness meditation. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for participating in our service today. It's nice that we can continue to gather together, at least if only electronically, but in our hearts I think we are still able to be together. So this is still a wonderful thing and something we should be grateful for. I hope that every one of you are coping well and staying healthy, and we will continue to do our best during this difficult time. I do also want to express my gratitude and appreciation for all of your continued support of Kahului Hongwanji. As you know, we cannot have fundraisers at this time. We don't have Sunday service collection and all those kinds of things. So we really, it is a difficult time, and we do really rely on the support of our friends in the community. So thank you very much, and let's conclude our service now by putting our hands together in Gasho and singing the Nembutsu. No.